Hot.
You've got the award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, the top 10 used cars of the year from Alex
Nizik.
You already forgot.
He did.
Well, I didn't change the pronouncer on my little sheet here, my
Good
cheat
thing
sheet.
Alex is here to clear it all
I know.
up.
Well, and thanks for pointing it all out.
We're trying.
He's from Consumer Reports, and it's all good. I'll give you my thoughts on driving the 2024 Chevy Equinox EV. And Jeff has the Motor Minute. That and more on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Our chief engineer, David Ainsley, of course, as usual, is sleeping in.
That's what I heard.
That's the rumor.
So we got a lot of show coming up for 2 hours that I think that you'll really enjoy. We've worked diligently all week long putting together.
Oh, I was laughing with you.
Oh, I see. Well, I wasn't laughing, but apparently you know something that I don't. Well, we're already off to a great start because I've did a little stumble with Mr. Nizik's last
You
name.
tripped and fell.
I tripped and fell. That's exactly. Alex Nizik, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining us today, my friend.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back on the show.
And you're up there in Connecticut.
I am.
The home of Consumer Reports.
Yes, the home of car testing, at least for Consumer Reports.
Absolutely, and we love that. And what a great job you have. How long have you had this job?
Oh, let's see. A little over 4 years now.
Lucky you.
Oh, time to
An
retire.
adventure.
Does your wife ever say to you, Alex, honey, you're going to have to come in now?
Street lights
or
are on.
We'll be driving one of the test cars, and she's like, "Stop talking about the car. Let's have a conversation."
Let's have a conversation about dinner tonight, going to the in-laws' house, or something like that.
Yeah.
Stop working.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. And so let's just get right to it and talk about the top 10 best used cars. So my question right out of the box to you is, what is the profile, the data that you have in place to come up with this top 10?
Yeah, it's a great question. This is the first time we've ever done this, so we're kind of historically known for doing this with new cars, right? New car top 10 picks list every year, and you know it's interesting because we saw that doing our own research that there was about 40% of Americans that were looking to buy a car in the next year were considering used cars only, so they weren't even looking at new cars, which is pretty staggering. So it was really an opportunity and the right time we thought to really expand what we do to used cars as well. And so when it comes to this list, really, it's three big things. These cars have to have performed well in our road tests when they were new. Maybe not the best performing car, but they had to perform, above a certain bar. They have to be safe. And so that means they all have standard electronic stability control, which we know became, mandatory in 2012, but a lot of cars had it sooner, right? So that has to be standard. And then the last thing is reliability. Reliability is probably the most important thing. We talk to consumers and we know that when they're shopping for a car,
Totally agree. Yeah,
especially used, right? You're trying to save money. So if you buy something reliable, it's going to help you do that, not only because it's going to cost less to own and break down less, but it's also going to be less of a hassle. So just that car has to have consistent reliability throughout its model year. So
was there an age limit in these cars?
Yeah, I mean, about 10 years old is where we kept it to. But it's really about the way they're categorized is by vehicle types. So we have, SUVs and sports cars and sedans, that type of thing. And then also price brackets. So when we look at the average price of a used car, it's still $30,000 is what people are paying on average, which is still a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I mean, that's on average, right? You're considering a lot of cars with that number, but we wanted to show that you can get a safe, reliable used car even lower. So our first, category, and the one that kind of surprised me the most, honestly, is our under $10,000 category. And we have the 2017 Chevrolet Cruze in there. Not necessarily a top pick when it was new, but now that car's depreciated pretty nicely. It's still reliable over time, according to our data that we get back from our members. And, it's a pretty new car, right? 2017, relatively speaking. That's a lot of car for under $10,000. So that's kind of the methodology of the list.
You're not going to find one on the drag strip, but I get where you're coming from.
Right. And the question I have is how many of those that you've categorized that they make anymore? And, are parts still available? I'm sure there are, but do they make them at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the older vehicles on the list, and Yeah, and we really had to do our due diligence to make sure that you could actually find these vehicles
Right.
too, right? Because the way the pricing is done is it's the median price of the car. So yes, you'll find some 2017 or 2018 Cruises that are above that price, below that price. But we needed to make sure that there are actually some listings out there that you can go find and buy at this price.
And
So
those folks that don't know, this is a mid or a small four-door sedan.
Right.
correct. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it is. Yep. Yep. Go ahead.
When you look at these things and you're considering the price, do you look at the mileage on them, or you just take these are the vehicles we're looking at and this is the mileage, just is what it is?
Yeah, I mean, mileage is important. I mean, we don't necessarily have a threshold that, okay, you have to be able to find a car that's under 50,000 miles, for example, to make it on the list. Now, yes, this Cruise example, right, being under $10,000 and being a 2017 is probably going to have higher miles. I know when I did my own search in preparation for all this, I was finding some, 75,000 miles, some over 100 for sure. So that, I think that really speaks to the fact that you really have to look at the ownership history of the car. You have to check that Carfax, make sure that see if it was a rental, see if it was maintained properly, all that type of stuff, right? Because buying a used car is just a different experience than buying a new car. If I'm looking at two new Camrys on the lot, I can be pretty confident that they're going to be similar. But if you're looking at used, you really have to take it a step further and test drive it, inspect it, that sort of thing.
So what's the next money threshold here after $10,000? 20?
Yeah, 20 is one. And I think, well, we do have a $15,000 category as well. So that's the Hyundai Elantra 2019. So getting a little bit newer. Again, a small four-door hatchback, or not hatchback, sedan, right? So very similar, just a little bit newer. And I think it's important to say we always recommend at CR to, buy the most safety that you can afford. And what that really means is buy the newest model year car that fits within your budget. So that's really what a lot of the cars on this list do, is they've depreciated more than their direct competitors while still having that reliability, right? So if you wanted to go buy, in this case, a 2019 Corolla, right, the direct competitor from Toyota, it's going to be more. Or if you wanted to stick to that $15,000 threshold, it's going to be an older car. So this list kind of helps you get the newest car that fits within these price brackets.
Next up.
Yep.
Next up.
Next up. Here, let's go to, I think this one's interesting. Hybrid, under $20,000.
Really?
Yeah, Toyota Corolla Hybrid, and it's 2021. So I think this is one of the cars that we end up recommending the most. New.
I was just going to say, because that sounds really enticing, a car that's relatively new that you might even find, I'm just guessing here, you might even find on a dealer lot as a certified used.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like this one, too, because those other cars that I just mentioned, I mean, the Cruise is discontinued at this point, and the Elantra, that's a generation behind.
Yep.
This is the current generation Corolla, and exactly to your point, you could probably find one of these cars CPO, certified pre-owned. And that's, CPO in general is a pretty awesome option if you'll pay a little bit more. We see about 2 to 3% more.
That's all? See, I thought it would be more than that, but...
Yeah, on average, right?
Okay.
Compared to that non-CPO version. But we see through our own, research and data from our members that they're more satisfied if they buy CPO and they have less problems. So you're kind of buying convenience, right, and peace of mind because that car's
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
more
agree.
peace of mind than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that there's a lot of misconception out there that CPO can be, a gimmick or whatever, but it, at least on average, tends to work out for people and they tend to be happy with it.
Yes.
So that's a great option. I think, the CX-9 is our 3-row SUV under $20,000 category.
Is that the Mazda?
Mazda, yeah. Kind of an under-the-radar choice, I think, because...
I agree.
Yeah, it is discontinued. It's been replaced by the CX-90 at this point.
Right.
But it's a good car, and, everybody's thinking about Toyota Highlanders and Honda Pilots and these other 3-row competitor SUVs, right? But this one, so the model year we have on this is 2020. So again, it's a pretty new car.
Do recalls come into the play on those decisions? Like, let's take the Corolla, for example. There might be a theory, well, there's been 10 recalls on it. Are they all taken care of? What were they? Takata bags and things of that nature. Is all that considered in there? Or is that part of it?
It's not, because we try to separate recalls from reliability, just because a recall can be performed generally for free, right? That's how they work. You go and get them fixed for free. So it really, we just always advise to just make sure that the car has, if it has any open recalls, that they've been addressed.
Yeah.
That is important. But if a
well,
car
in that regard too, if you're not talking about a transmission recall on a million vehicles. I did one the other day. It was a recall. It had a 50,000 vehicle recall on a sticker underneath the hood that was wrong. I mean, who cares?
Safety or convenience,
Well,
those are the two categories.
Yeah, and typically a recall, it's kind of a one and done. Here, we got this one problem, you fix it. Doesn't really say that reliability is going to have continued problem after problem after problem. It's kind of a different category.
So let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah. And to that point, real quick, just if we're not unaware of these recalls. So if there was some giant recall that we know was a huge problem that caused like a do not drive, we're not going to put the car on the list.
Right.
If it's a big enough thing like that.
Sure.
Luxury SUV under $20,000, Buick Envision 2020. I think a similar
Under 20.
Under 20.
That's a nice car for under 20.
A lot of car for
That's
under 20.
the one I was thinking about when I.
Yeah. So, again, it maybe not the best performing vehicle when it was new. It's not going to be, tearing up your local back roads or anything necessarily, but it's going to be comfortable and, it's got proven reliability.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
that's
you haven't seen Mike drive,
a great pick. Yeah, we haven't seen Mike drive.
And if you're interested, and if you want to stick to a domestic brand, that helps you do that.
Yeah.
So, again, an under the radar choice that I think is a
perfect
one.
I like it.
This one, I personally like this one as our prior conversation. Pickup truck under $20,000, Toyota Tacoma 2015.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Down here in Texas, I don't know if even if the Tacoma has got 4 million miles on it, I don't know if you could get it for under 20.
It's going to be.
Not
it's going to maybe take
new.
you a little bit more work to find the under $20,000 version.
Right.
But they are out there. I did make sure.
Gotcha. Okay. That's next.
Yeah. So I mean, with this car, just your mileage threshold is a little higher. Assuming that check the frame. We know that these trucks tend to have, maybe not in Texas, but if you're in the Northeast like I am,
Rust issues.
The frame is solid, and that speaks to getting the car inspected.
Yes.
But pretty solid truck. Can't go wrong. The answer is always Miata. So sports car under $20,000. The 2019 MX-5. So goes kind of without saying.
Yes.
On that one. Mm-hmm. And I like this too because the Miata got a pretty big performance upgrade in 2018. So you can still get all those upgrades, the 2019 version, for under $20,000. So, and it's a stick shift. So.
Yeah, well,
That makes it nice.
if I've got a daughter that's going off to college, that may be a pick. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, it's dependable, it's reliable, it's a cute car for a girl especially.
And you can't pile 20 kids in there to have a big party going down the road.
There is that. Yeah, exactly.
You can't fit too many people in it.
Right.
What I don't hear any Kias or any Hyundais in this.
Do you have any of those?
We did have the Hyundai Elantra under $15,000 category, that 2019 Elantra, and then our small SUV under 20,000, 2021 Kia Sportage is on there as well. So that's a compact SUV, the prior generation, pretty good car. Generation spans from 2017 to 2022. So again, you're kind of getting a car that's towards the end of that generation. So reliability is up there, and pretty solid car. I think, and that topic of generations, I think, is important too when you're shopping for a used car. So generations being, let's say a car gets redesigned in 2015, it's all new, and it lasts for, 6, 7, 8 years before the new one comes out. Because we're talking about individual model years here, right? 2021 Kia Sportage in this case. But maybe you go and you start looking and you find a better deal on a 2020 or a 2022, some adjacent model year. So it's important to just understand which generation of car you're shopping within. And then if you go to our site, cr.org, you'll be able to see all of the reliability information for all the model years. So you'll be able to, kind of be confident that, okay, I didn't find the exact model year you're talking about, but I can be confident this one's going to be good too. So
what is the number one on your used car list, regardless of price?
Oh gosh. we didn't necessarily rank them as far as, sequentially in order. If I had to choose one,
Yeah.
I mean, just like
Now, you've been married a while. Do you have children?
I do not. No.
You do not. Okay, so I guess it would depend on whether you have children or not. But I would say, okay, if you've a young family and you got a kid or two, you definitely want, I think, a two-row SUV that gets decent gas mileage and is reliable.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly what I was just about to say, because the one I haven't mentioned yet is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, under $20,000.
Totally agree.
2018.
Yeah.
I mean, bread and butter Toyota hybrid system, super
See a lot of them.
efficient, and it's going to be reliable.
So it's 6 years old, and it was a 6-year-old vehicle. I would say you could probably find one, a good, decent one that's not been wrecked or mutilated, under 50,000 miles.
Yes, I mean, I don't have the mileages right in front of me, but yeah, that seems reasonable. You're going to be able to, get a car, especially going with something like Toyota. That car's got a lot of life in front of it, so
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily be scared of 50,000 miles the same way I would be with, something from another brand.
I agree.
Gotcha.
I agree. Well, so all this information available on cr.com? org, isn't it?
Yeah, cr.org/used cars. And that /used cars is super important. That's where you're going to find all the information on these cars. And we also did, for the first time, ranked all the brands by their used car reliability. So we looked at,
Wow.
Cars 5 to 10 years old, and we brought all our reliability information together, and you can see which brands are most reliable and which ones
So
aren't.
that college education is paying off.
You could say that.
Alex, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much. We thoroughly enjoyed
You
it.
betcha.
Great information, cr.org/used cars. You take care of yourself and enjoy the nice weather up there in Connecticut.
Thank you. All right,
Thank
you guys
you.
too. Thank you so much.
You bet. That was fun.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can catch the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream our live 2-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will continue right after this quick break.
The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipe means when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the first Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here is the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katie's another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located on 99 the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station. Located just around the corner from Kyle Field, it's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Going to Louisiana? The Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont is on I-10, so you can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants has the best Tex-Mex anywhere, and you're invited anytime. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
And you know, fall is right around the corner, and the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show has some remote broadcasts lined up, including Woody's Waterfront Car Show, September 28th, Hemi Hideout Open House, November the 9th, Houston Autorama, Thanksgiving weekend, and we've got a brand new one that's coming up, and that is the Lone Star... No.
No.
The LCC.
It's the Space City Corvette.
That's it. Space
Their car show. It's part of apparently a big fall festival thing they have down in
Friendswood.
Friendswood.
And when is it?
October the 12th.
Just calm down because I've got it on
12th.
my cruising. So I've got the dates and stuff on that.
Very good. Well,
There
we're
you
not
go.
okay. So we got all that coming up.
Yeah.
We hope that you'll stop by and say hello when we're on our remote broadcast thing.
Got it all.
Time now for the Motor Minute. Jeff's
Yes,
got that.
I've got an update. Our friend Bruce, a couple weeks ago, looking for the swatch for his special edition. Well, he found it. Finally got some information out of General Motors. They told him how to read the codes on his build sheet and on the Romaroni. So he did find out about it. He did get the information he wanted, and he's moving forward with the swatch. So thank you all out there. The check's in the mail. The other thing I have, we've got some new subscribers. We get subscriber emails, Mike and I do, from people. We've got Jana is a new subscriber. Kevin is a new subscriber. A person by the name of Tanner. And then we've got Cherie.
Welcome.
Are all new subscribers
thanks
with
so
us.
much.
I've got all their information, but I'm going to keep that here. So there you go.
You're not going to publish their information
we don't
or
do
their
that.
telephone number or anything like that? Oh,
We got a couple others coming up,
saving
and
it.
as I get these, I'll say hi and thank you on the
And by the way,
airport.
we don't
Appreciate
sell
it.
your information
No, we
or
don't.
any of that
We
sort of
don't.
stuff. All right, time now for this hour's car review. I got to drive the 2024 Chevrolet Equinox EV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a pure electric, and well, listen up. So it comes in all of these trim levels: 2LT, 2RS, 3LT, 3RS, and 2RS Launch Edition. I drove the Chevy Equinox EV 2RS. This is a small SUV, although I don't know who says it's small, because it really didn't feel like it
a
was
midsize.
small
I think
to
it's
me.
just because it's not big.
I want to point out that this has very little connection to the gasoline version Chevy Equinox. This is a completely different vehicle. It's all new. I don't know why these companies do this. The Mustang Mach-E. No, it's a Mustang. Name it something else, okay? So, whatever. I'm sure that they've done all the research, and
name
I'm
it
just stupid, but
Camaro
whatever.
or something.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. It sits on the Ultium platform, which is the skateboard that underlies all of the new EVs that are currently coming out of General Motors, and it's nice. It's all new for 2024. Slick, wind-cheating front fascia that looks good. Different for each trim is the nose of it. Sculpted sides with a forward-canted C-pillar. That's the one at the very back of the car. Upscale-looking lighting front and rear. Rear hatch has an integrated sunshade over it. Overall exterior design gets an A+ rating from yours truly. What I liked about it, the modern but classy look about this. What could use improvement? Offer a sportier design, just an idea, with hot rodders in mind. Doesn't have to change anything other than make it racier. Put some different wheels on it or whatever. Interior highlights include a 17.7-inch. You got that 17. That's bigger than a foot. Center touchscreen. Android base, by the way, with a separate gauge screen up front of the driver. Fabric seating surfaces are absolutely awesome in this. I don't know what the fascination is with leather, but boy, I'll say this, that so many of these manufacturers these days are really putting some nice materials in the car besides leather. Yes, less leg room in the second row. There is room back there. It's plenty, but it's a two-row. Easy to get in and out of. Plenty of cargo and trunk room, especially with the second row down. What I liked about it, lots of standard features in this. What could use improvement? I just put a big question mark because I don't know. It's pretty good to me. Electric dual motor, 3,300 option. Horsepower, 213 with the single motor. Torque is 236 pound-feet. One-speed automatic transmission. Doesn't have a transmission. It's direct drive. 1,500 pounds of towing capability, which isn't much. You don't want to tow with this. Miles per gallon, 101 in the city and 90 on the highway for a combined a 319-mile range. I traveled 278 miles. I plugged it into the 110 outlet here at the house overnight, and then I got to work, which was 30 miles away. I plugged it in again, and I always kept close to a 100% charge on it. So, yeah, so I've kind of figured out how to ease my pain when it comes to angst on these electric cars.
There you go.
Level 2 charger at home would be perfect for me here. Ride and handling. What I liked about it was absolutely everything. Smooth, comfortable ride, easily handled. What could use improvement? It still feels heavier than a gasoline-powered car. Now, it's only 500 pounds heavier than a gasoline version of this car, but still at 4,923 pounds, it's heavy, and it feels heavy.
Well.
But it's a battery car, so it's going to be heavy.
But it's not sluggish. It's not.
No, oh God, no, not at all. Absolutely not. Base print trim price on this, $43,400. Price is tested $50,795. Comes with an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the batteries.
Wow.
Base model price is $41,900. The Super Cruise option was on this particular car. That is a $2,700 option that I could do without. It's novel, but it doesn't apply around town at all. I don't know. I like to drive. I like to have my hands on the wheel, and I like to drive the car. So the cruise option. If you're a salesman and you drive back and forth to Dallas all the time, more power to you. Get that, but it's
even
not
in
for
that,
me.
if you're in traffic like we have, people cutting in and out.
Well, I've driven with him, so it's good that he's got his hands on the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Competitors to the vehicle, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 for $41,800. Now remember, the base model price on this Equinox is $41,900 for the EV. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 is a direct competitor. It sells for $41,800 starting price. Mustang Mach-E starts at $39,995. The Kia EV6 is $42,600. So they're all right there within a $3,000 price range. Do your shopping. I think that you're really going to like this vehicle. Yeah. I did. And the interior is just beautiful.
And then a step up from that would be the Lyriq.
I didn't even think that it was a Chevrolet.
No,
it's a good-looking car.
It really is. And the interior, really, they've stepped it up, buddy.
I had several people comment on how it looked, and even the postman was walking by while I was out there taking a few pictures of it.
Hey, what's that?
That's what he said. He said, man, that's a nice-looking car.
Yeah.
And he said, what is it? I told him, it's Chevrolet. That's a Chevrolet.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yours was an RS, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an RS.
So it's
a little...
Just a tag.
Yeah, trim-level options, basically. Yeah. Like I said, it did have other options, but it
was a good-looking car.
Yeah, I liked it. Okay. That's the review of the 2024 Chevy Equinox EV. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We are back right after this quick break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show brings you great guest interviews each week from manufacturers and suppliers to the aftermarket, racers, enthusiasts, and other friends just like you and me who love to talk about all things automotive. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show takes it to the road, too, with remotes at Tailpipes and Tacos, Woody's Waterfront Car Show, and the Hemi Hideout. In Wheel Time's live video and audio stream can be found on the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, Facebook, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon Central Time, or grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider.
The world's favorite place to go for fun and informative car talk. This is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Matt Stone joins us to talk about his book, DeLorean, The Rise, Fall, and Second Acts of the DeLorean Motor Company. I'm interested in second acts. Later, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History, and I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. David Ainsley is going to be busy at our remote broadcast for October, because I think every weekend but one we are out and about.
Well, yes, that's correct.
Well, he emailed. He says, hey, he's looking forward to it. Yeah. Did you get the email?
I did, yeah.
So, David,
believe it or not,
David will make it happen.
internet works.
It does
in the house.
Yeah,
it works out here too. If we can get connected to it. Oh, I'm sorry. My Tourette's is acting up again.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so let us talk right now with our guest this hour. His name is Matt Stone. Matt, good morning to you.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Very well,
Good.
thank you. Matt has written a book called DeLorean, The Rise, Fall, and Second Acts of the DeLorean Motor Company. Now, you're not the only one that has written a book about it, because I'll tell you this. The story behind John DeLorean is truly amazing. Very successful man with General Motors for decades. Went on and to build his own car that we all know from Back to the Future and other things. It really is an iconic car now. Matter of fact, they're fixing up the old ones, and they've come out with a new one. So let's talk about the book, Matt, and what motivated you to write the book?
To me, guys, this is the story that you think you knew, but you probably don't. You know, everybody knows little bits and pieces of it, but it has been some number of years before anybody has written a comprehensive book about the guy, the car, the company, the life, the movies, the bust, all of that. And as you know, and you mentioned, there have been a number of books over time. Honestly, a couple of them are pretty good. Some of them, not so much. But a lot has happened somewhat recently. And it just kind of felt, and there were some anniversaries involved here too, but I just felt it was time to take a new, fresh, journalistic, holistic, overall look at the DeLorean-osphere, because it's been a long time since anybody's done it.
And tell me, give me a brief overview, if you will, in 60 seconds, so everybody knows who we're talking about here, and John DeLorean. Of course, famous for the DeLorean Motor Car Company, but he has a long history with General Motors and a very successful one.
Indeed. He is a Detroit-born guy, born of a kind of a hard-scrabble, lower-middle-class life in Detroit. And grew up and went to school, an engineering school, and became an engineer. And right out of school, he went to work, and he spent time with Packard. Remember them?
I do, yes.
Mm-hmm. And before joining General Motors, and joined the General Motors Pontiac division, and had a long career with General Motors from the 50s until almost the 70s, and it was an interesting ride for him all the way. He was somewhat the rebel, somewhat the outcast, and didn't always like the way things worked at General Motors, but was able to work within and sometimes without the system. And brought a lot of innovation and development and good things to Pontiac. Most widely recognized as one of the absolute fathers of the Pontiac GTO in 1964, which we all remember. And a fascinating guy. I mean, I've learned a lot about him in the year that I spent putting this together, and I knew a fair amount about him before. But it was an interesting ride, just really learning more and learning deeper about what this guy accomplished, and then where things didn't go as well as one might have hoped. But a serious car guy, interesting personality, and he said he was going to build a very special, unique sports car in all the world, and he did. Put his name on the building, put his name on the door, and then it kind of all went pear-shaped a little bit, and and unfortunately wound to an end in 1980, in the early 1980s, 1983. Was about the end of it for what we knew as the DeLorean Motor Company, and he passed away in about 2000, I guess, at the age of 80. And it's just a fascinating ride if you love automotive history stories.
What really stands out in your mind that you found out that most people hadn't heard of before?
Wow, there's a whole lot of stuff. I think, boy, that's tough. That is a tough question. I think a lot of people aren't aware, and I'm coming nearer the end of the story and answering your questions, that when that entire FBI, DEA sting brought him down and ultimately helped close down the company and everything else, and there was the big trial here in Los Angeles, which was front page news when I was watching it, is that of all of the charges leveled against him, he was acquitted, 100% acquitted of every charge in the whole drug bust thing. And I'll just as proof of life, here it is.
Yeah, I think if you want
to, a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, he was guilty of drug trafficking." He was not, or not found guilty anyway. And like I said, living here in Southern California as a car guy, we watched that whole thing every day, and it was fascinating. A lot of people are not even aware of the fact that he was acquitted, even though it ultimately equaled his personal and business failure.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is the fact is, from what he said and from what I have heard, that all he was trying to do was to save his company.
Yes, and I believe that. And unfortunately, he was so desperate for that. He kind of fell in with some bad actors. One in particular, who was his neighbor at a property he owned here in San Diego County, James Hoffman, who was a really bad dude, and also a FBI informant on drug trafficking, who worked really hard to try to curry favor with the FBI and the DEA for lighter sentences and such. And, John was just kind of telling him his woes. And one day, this guy, a light bulb went off and said, "Ooh, I can use this to my advantage." So he went to the folks at the FBI and said, "Hey, I think we can land a fish." And that's what they tried to do.
So that's all in the book?
Yes.
Okay, let me focus a minute on the actual DeLorean Motor Company, in the fact that at first there was a lot of flash about the car because it was, gull wing doors, it was affordable, and all of the things that attracted people to it, but it didn't resonate with a lot of people. What was it in particular that prevented the sales, the big sales of the cars that he really was depending on to keep the company afloat? Was it the engine? Was it the poor performance? Did he have to make sacrifices within the car that didn't resonate with people? What was the problem?
A lot of answers to that question. I am convinced summarily that the company just didn't have enough of everything needed to really do the job, whether that was time, R&D, money, luck, political environment, circumstances. At the time, the early 80s, there was a lot of financial, it wasn't quite depression, but there was a lot of recession in various aspects of the market, in the car market. And then certainly some of it was due to the car. I think everybody just wanted, because of those exotic features and looks, everybody expected a Ferrari. It was going to run as fast as a Ferrari or whatever.
Right.
And I think that the car just being of moderate performance, although they're actually quite lovely to drive, and I've driven several of them, it never kind of met everybody's expectation. Being that expectation real or not, it just kind of never met everybody's hopes and expectations for the car, and just didn't have enough of everything to get where it needed to be.
Well, I guess one of the things that is interesting to me is that about that same time, or shortly thereafter, the debut of the DMC, that General Motors came out with the Fiero, a little two-seat sports car that it too was underpowered. It looked really good, but I would like to place it in competition as far as performance is concerned in the same basket. I think that a lot of people, and myself included, when they first saw it, I thought, well, this is a Corvette killer. And as it turned out, it wasn't. So there were a lot of, I guess, preconceived notions about the car being a performer that it never lived up to, and it was kind of disappointing. I will say that even to this day, the stainless steel thing was truly amazing, and matter of fact, so much so that we know of a car manufacturer that has come out with a stainless steel pickup truck. And so that wasn't that far-fetched if you look at it in retrospect, but it really was a wow factor for the vehicle. So there were a lot of things that were positive about it, but a lot of things that were negative about it. And the fact that he built the thing over in Ireland because they gave him money to build the factory there, thinking that it was going to be a real success, and as it turned out, it was a huge failure.
Well, during a tumultuous time there in Ireland too, with the wars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
So I guess all of that is in your book.
Oh yeah, I outline and go through all of this stuff. Tumultuous times in Belfast. That word doesn't even cover it.
Well,
it was just crazy political environment there, and wars and bombings. And I mean, I've got pictures in the book of streets and buildings on fire. I mean, this was a very volatile place to do it, because of course they had before at that time was about 30%. Think of that number, 30% unemployment in Northern Ireland, in Belfast, and everybody was on the government dole, and about all they had time to do was fight. So naturally, the British government really wanted to solve this problem, and had lots and lots of money to throw at it. And they did, as you said, they financed DeLorean to a great extent, with the intent of putting local people back to work. And it fascinates me that for many of the guys and gals that went to work at DeLorean, other than, kind of freelancing as a painter or a plumber or whatever little side work they could put together, this was their first real job. Think about that.
Yeah.
Guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s had never held a job up until the time they went to work and training at DeLorean. That to me is fascinating. College? They didn't go to college. A lot of them didn't finish high school. So for so many of these employees, it was their first job. Wow. That's kind of mind-blowing. And they could actually go to work at a clean, beautiful factory, be trained, and put food on their table.
Quite an opportunity. So, Matt, let me ask you, what do you think that sales look like for your book? We're trying to help you here, and all I could think of was timing is pretty good. We got Christmas coming up, great Christmas gift. How many pages in the book?
Well, let's just see.
Start at the beginning.
Yeah, one, two, three.
I know how many I typed.
Yeah, and it wound up being
191.
Oh, we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
As long as the type isn't too small where I can't read it.
We sell the magnifying glass.
Cheaters.
Just for gray hairs like us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I assume that it is available everywhere, including Amazon?
Yes. Yeah, its technical publication date is September 17th. But they are in warehouses right now, and they're taking orders, and we'll be filling them here in another week or so. So you could buy publisher direct from Motor Books, motorbooks.com or Corto.com, whatever they call it these days. But Amazon, absolutely. And certainly all the automotive bookstores like Auto Books out here in Burbank, California will sell it. And it should be pretty widely available for the usual automotive book titles, yeah.
Wonderful.
You live in Burbank?
I do not. I currently live in Camarillo, California, which is right next to Ventura.
Okay.
But used to live in Glendale, which was next to beautiful downtown Burbank.
There's a highway in Ventura.
Yeah, Ventura Highway. That's it.
101.
Matt Stone, it's a pleasure and honor to talk to you, and we look forward to reading your book, DeLorean, The Rise and Fall and Second Acts of the DeLorean Motor Company. Thanks again for getting up and joining us today here in Houston, Texas.
That's okay. I was actually up hours ago.
Were you?
My nephew got married in Prague.
Oh.
Which meant I was watching the live stream at 6 o'clock this morning Pacific time.
Well,
so it's okay.
What a way to start the day!
And waiting for you.
Well, that's perfect. Well, thank him for us.
Congratulations to him.
To get you up out of the bed.
There you go.
We appreciate it. Matt, talk to you again soon. Thanks again.
You bet, guys. Anytime, I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you.
Fun.
Yeah.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com.
We do.
And podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will continue right after this quick break.
The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipe means when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the first Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here is the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katie's another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located on 99 the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station. Located just around the corner from Kyle Field, it's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Going to Louisiana? The Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont is on I-10, so you can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants has the best Tex-Mex anywhere, and you're invited anytime. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thank you for joining us today on our live version every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. That's what we got lined up for you every week. As a matter of fact, we're going to throw a little caveat into that.
Ooh, I like caveats.
Do you?
Yeah.
They taste good, don't they?
With mustard. Yeah.
Mustard. Okay. I like mine with
that's
horseradish mustard.
Oh, there you go. Horsey sauce.
Yeah, I like
spicy
that.
touch.
Yeah. Just like me. So here are some of the things that we've got lined up for remote broadcasts. We're on the September 28th, we're going to be at Woody's Waterfront Custom Car Show in San Leon, Texas.
Oh, boy.
As opposed
Some people
to
call
Leon.
it there's no such thing except in France. On the 12th of October, we're going to be at the
that place.
Space City. Shh. Here, you want to do it?
No.
I'm just trying to get you started.
We're laughing with you.
Space City Corvette Club at Stevenson Park in Friendswood. That's a big car show. It's not just Corvettes. It's a great show.
Open.
Yeah, open car show.
we're going to be sponsored by Emmons Autoplex.
There you
for
go.
the broadcast.
Emmons Autoplex is going to sponsor us, and we're really excited about that. October the 19th, Spring Branch High School Museum car show.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be surprised at that. I'm going to make it a point. I told you she's got to take you.
You keep pointing
to a
that
tour.
pin at me.
I know. That's
I'm telling you, you are going to love that museum as much as you like all your nostalgic stuff. It made me wish that my high school would have done that because I got grandkids going to graduate this
You
year.
can't fit anything else in your garage.
No, the high school.
And your high school was one room for all the grades, wasn't it?
That's right. Now they got 2 rooms, but they could have made one of them into a museum. You're going to be impressed at what these people have done with this. You're going to like
So
it.
mark it on your calendar. That's going to be October the 19th, Spring Branch High School Museum Car Show in Spring Branch, Texas. Right up the road. Then on November the 9th, we're going to be out at the Hemi Hideout. And that is open to the public. $10 to get you in. John matches the $10 and gives it to the local charities there
Now, is that
in Brookshire.
cash, or can you debit card? Or
No, it is cash only.
That need to make that clear.
Yeah. And then Thanksgiving weekend, we'll be back at Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center. So we'll hope to see you at one of those, if not multiple
Our
times.
fall tour.
Our fall
road
fall
again.
tour.
We're going to
Love
have
that.
shirts made up.
There you go. Fall tour.
The in real time fall
I know
tour.
a guy.
Yeah, that's right. like the Pink Floyd tour.
Yes, exactly.
That's us. All right, time now for the racing calendar,
Yes.
sponsored by the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge.
Thank you, Texas Muscle Car. NASCAR, we are in the Cup playoffs, and you've got the Xfinity's running today. The Cup guys are running tomorrow. It is on at 3 p.m. on USA Network. Mike tickets are still available.
Yeehaw.
You betcha. Now, on the 13th, which is coming up next week, you've got Formula One. They're going to be in Qatar, the Qatar Airways Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Azerbaijan.
They're going to be there, too.
That.
They're going to be there as well.
Kind of next to San Leon.
It's at the Baku City Circuit. That's the track that they're going to be
Okay.
at. IMSA is going to be in Indianapolis at the end of this month. And we've got NHRA's actually going to be in their Countdown Championship. The TV schedule is going to be September 15th, so it's a little bit farther off. It's going to be the Pep Boys NHRA Nationals in Reading, Pennsylvania. To be determined on the network, but it's
I've
going
been
to
to
be at 2
Reading,
p.m.
Pennsylvania, the
Yep.
drag strip there, and that's an interesting part of the country.
Yep, sure
Went
is.
out to eat one night, and the Amish were there eating with us.
Oh, boy.
It was an interesting place.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's
They have a
cool.
lot of full-service sit-down restaurants up there. You know, mom-and-pop restaurants.
Yeah.
Very nice. Food was great.
I-
It was just very different from
Yeah.
what we experienced down here.
When I was with Keystone, Pennsylvania, it's in Pennsylvania, the headquarters, and
Joe Amato still live up there?
yeah, it does. Yeah, nice place. Anyways, you would be like driving down your street here. One of the houses would actually be a restaurant,
Yeah, that's very common up
and
there.
you just park, pull up in the driveway, and go in there and eat. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, it is. It was pretty crazy.
All right. Time now for This Week in Auto History. Mr. Mars has that.
This week, we found a few things that are pretty interesting. September the 1st, 1923. The first car equipped with a radio.
God, I remember that just like yesterday.
I'm sure
That's
you
your
do.
car.
It was a Chevrolet. It was introduced at the Minnesota State Fair, but it was not a nice small box that fit into the dashboard. It needed a lot of room. The antenna literally covered the roof. It
And
had
don't
the
forget
test
about the
tubes.
tubes.
Yes,
Oh,
they had
yeah.
the test tubes that were in there.
Not test tubes.
Not the test tubes.
No,
the,
they're just actual tubes, vacuum tubes.
Vacuum tubes.
You're thinking of the 7-Eleven store that you used to go to.
in and plug them in
Yes,
and test them. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Or that meth lab.
The speakers were so big they had to be attached to the back of the seats, and the batteries to power the setup would barely fit underneath the seat. And the upcoming automotive, like AAA and all those guys that were developing those associations, they were concerned over distracted driving from
Oh,
listening to the
my.
music.
They ought
not
to be
paying
living
attention.
today, huh?
That's what I thought. All right, September the 2nd, the National Corvette Museum opens to the public this day in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
That's a very interesting Corvette
Yeah, did I
light
miss
that you've
something,
got
Mike?
there.
Oh, that's the antenna on top of the car.
Oh, that was the antenna.
I got you. There you go.
Yeah, there's the museum. Now, this has been home for the production of the Chevrolet Corvette since 1981.
Not at the museum, but in the factory
Right.
next door.
Well, Bowling Green. Collection of all the sports cars includes a display of the catastrophic sinkhole, and it swallowed 8 of the museum's prized cars. the National Corvette Museum that we talked about last week, their caravan happens every 5 years as part of the anniversary celebration where thousands of Corvettes show up to celebrate in the Corvette. September the 3rd, 1964, the first Ford Mustang convertible rolled off the assembly line. Now, to decrease the development cost of the Mustang, they used the chassis and suspension and drivetrain from the Ford Falcon and the Fairlane. They did all this to cut down on cost because of the Falcon frame and the welded box section side rails. Now, although the hardtop Mustangs accounted for the highest sales, durability programs with the new frame led to the engineering of convertibles first to ensure there was adequate stiffness in the car. They did not know they built the convertible first. September the 5th, 1960. The Land Rover Series 1 made the U.S. debut. The Land Rover was conceived by the Rover Company in 1947 during the aftermath of World War II. Before the war, Rover produced luxury cars. Of course, after the war, those were not in demand and raw materials were strictly rationed to companies building construction or industrial equipment or products that could be exported to earn foreign exchange. So Rover's original factory had also been bombed, so it didn't even exist. This was launched at the Amsterdam Motor Show. It was designed for farm and light industrial use with a steel box section chassis and an aluminum body due to steel shortages. Now, if you look at that car, it looks a whole lot like something else, like a Jeep. They did that intentionally because they came home from the war. They needed something that was cheap and easy to build, flat panels, no wavy designs or anything, but just nice, flat, easy.
They stole the design from the Bantam Motor Company.
Yes, they did.
Queen of England.
And it worked.
Drove one.
Yeah, she loved hers.
Yeah, she loved hers.
But back to the Mustang story. I watched yesterday very interesting Jay Leno's Garage, and Bill Ford, yes, Ford Motor Company, Bill Ford, brought Jay the original, real honest-to-God pace car for the Indy 500 in 1964, the Mustang. And he was talking about the modifications that they had to do to it in a very short period of time because the original V8 Mustang could not do 140 miles an hour, which is the minimum requirement to pace the Indy 500. So they took that engine out, and Holman Moody put a race engine in it. They had to detune it because the Ford Mustang was not capable, the frame, to be able to hold all of that power and get it down to the ground. So all of the modifications, it's a fascinating 35-minute show on the Mustang and pacing the Indy 500. You know who won the Indy 500 that year? That would have been A.J. Foyt. But this particular car was not always in Bill Ford's collection of Fords, but it was owned by somebody else that had paced the car. It was a complicated story that he explained very well, and it's I couldn't stop watching it.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. Jay has lost a lot of weight. You know, he lost his wife not too long ago, and
he had that accident.
Yeah. The fire and all of that. So, but it was a fascinating interview, and Jay drove the car, 4-speed manual transmission in it, all white, and with a white convertible top. And it had the blue racing stripe in the middle of it. That's a Ford thing, and he explains it in that. It was truly, all of our listeners would love to see that.
Yeah,
go to YouTube and look up Jay Leno's Garage and the Ford Mustang 1964 pace car.
I found it.
I have to do that.
I found it. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's very good. All right. Let's take a quick break, shall we? We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Quick break now. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, streaming and podcasting around the planet. Look for us at your favorite provider. Back in a minute.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000 square foot warehouse, showroom, and installation installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show brings you great guest interviews each week from manufacturers and suppliers to the aftermarket, racers, enthusiasts, and other friends just like you and me who love to talk about all things automotive. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show takes it to the road, too, with remotes at Tailpipes and Tacos, Woody's Waterfront Car Show, and the Hemi Hideout. In Wheel Time's live video and audio stream can be found on the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, Facebook, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon Central Time, or grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider.
It is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, an open therapy session with Mike and Jeff. Jeff has a feature on cool cars with cool dashboards, and Mars reviews the new Infiniti Bigaboy. The QX80 is big. Just ahead on this segment of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world and out of the bathroom Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekid, Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us today on our live version of the show. I had some things to talk about that I thought would be interesting. And it could be a long story for you, and it could not be, but I just thought it was interesting enough that I thought we'd stir up some conversation.
Uh-oh.
I like to stir.
I know you do. And you do it inadvertently, not meaning to.
He does it without a spoon.
Yeah. God. So this is a story from Automotive News. Billionaire Elon Musk will head a government efficiency commission with a vast remit if Donald Trump is elected U.S. president, potentially putting him in position to change the rules for corporate America, including the wide swath of industries in which his companies compete. Trump announced the plan, including Musk's role, September 6th, and said he wanted to see the recommendations for drastic reforms, starting with hunting down fraud and improper payments that would target the entire federal government. The commission would put Musk, who leads rocket company SpaceX, electric car maker Tesla, technology companies X and XAI, and several others, a chance to plan the slimmer government Republicans often refer to, advocate, but could still see him making rules that directly affect his own work and wealth. I don't know how that's going to work out.
I think it's just speculation right now.
It is. Musk repeatedly suggested creating a government efficiency commission in a public conversation with Trump on social media platform X in August, saying that government spending should be trimmed to a sensible level. You think? And that Musk himself was willing to help. Trump in the conversation responded that Musk was the greatest cutter of jobs.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Presidential commissions have been created on a number of topics, such as when President Joe Biden created one to examine the idea of reforming the Supreme Court. That's according to Nicholas Guggenberger, an assistant professor of law at University of Houston Law Center, whose work focuses on antitrust law and technology. But Musk's significant relationships with the U.S. government, worth billions of dollars, make it a different matter. It is something that they're looking at. This is not the first cutter, a guy that goes into the government and says, we need to trim that, do this, do that, do that. But I just thought that it was interesting that Musk would be chosen to do such a thing.
Well, maybe he'll select us to help him.
All I can think of is, granted, the guy's a bajillionaire and very successful businessman. And when Trump was running for office, he ran on the fact that he was a businessman and not a politician. Well, that quite hasn't worked out the way that somebody has planned. So I don't know how that would work out, but I can only imagine Tom Schatz, president of the watchdog group Citizens Against Government Waste, which grew out of a commission under President Ronald Reagan, said there was a precedent for vast savings. Moreover, bringing in more executives would spread the responsibility. I don't know. I haven't seen that work.
Well, without getting down that rabbit hole too far, the corporation that I worked for, they would occasionally...
And what corporation was that?
That was AT&T.
I thought it was Southwestern Bell.
Well, I started with Southwestern Bell, but they were a subsidiary of AT&T.
I see.
And they eventually ate up AT&T. Anyway, they would take occasionally, and they would move some people around that were known to be cutters. That was the polite way we called them, but that wasn't the real name for them. But they were brought into a department to become more efficient, more effective, because they didn't have any connection to the people. They hadn't been there for years and years to develop this sense of, I got to take care of my buddy Don over here. No, they didn't know anybody. They didn't know anything, and they just looked at the bare numbers. And if the numbers didn't work, cut it, fix it, and then they would leave. And everybody else would have to clean up the aftermath to try and figure out how to make things continue to work. So there is,
and they did.
And there's a little merit to the idea of somebody, because the idea of government and efficiency, those two words don't go together.
No, they don't.
It's like military intelligence. I mean, it just doesn't work. and it's just because it's got very big, the government's very big, and they're embedded, and everybody wants to keep their jobs. And there is some merit to the idea. I don't know if that's the best way to implement it, but there is some merit to the idea.
Well, the other thing, and to go into that a little bit more, was Stellantis, the parent,
another example.
The parent company of Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Their new CEO that took over, made it Stellantis, has kind of gotten his comeuppance, I think, recently, because, the UAW was promised that they were going to open the Belvidere assembly plant. Well, sales haven't just kind of taken off like they had planned. They put all of their marbles into the EV thing. They've cut building cars that made them money, a lot of money, namely the Challenger and the Charger. They don't exist anymore off the factory line. And they were going to open up the Belvidere plant, and now they're thinking, now the UAW is saying, wait a minute, you promised us that you would open that Belvidere plant. And like other plants, assembly plants around the United States, they're huge. I can't even begin to explain to you how big they are. You can stand at one end and look down, which would be the other end. You can't see the other end. It's too far away.
Yeah. One thing that's not in that article that I know that Trump and Musk are against is this woke stuff. He's going to cut the woke, is what it is. That's all the DEI stuff is all they're all against. Well, again,
that's back to the efficiency idea that
right.
This doesn't work, so get rid of it. But to the Stellantis thing, that's a big part of their problem. Because Chrysler's got one car, the minivan, the Pacifica. That's the only thing that brand sells.
It's actually a pretty good looking van.
And I saw something recently that the Ram was going to stop making the stripper model, the work truck, the plain white.
They have stopped that. It was the old version of the Ram 1500 that was strictly. Well, not strictly. I mean, anybody could buy it. Yeah. But you had to find a dealer that they probably weren't on the lot. You had to order it, and there was, $5,000, $10,000 discount to get that particular. It was a work truck. Exactly. Is what it was.
Just a
but
basic
they continued to build it because it was successful.
People were buying it.
Yeah.
And didn't they try to introduce the Power Wagon again?
Power Wagon, they are building. Yep. They still build the Power Wagon. I think it's gotten scaled back on how many, but I think they still build it.
Yeah, it's just it's another
nameplate.
Well, the trim level of the Dodge Ram 1500.
Yeah. But it's not near the truck it used to be, but it's still there.
We didn't do headlines last hour, so I thought I'd throw a few of them in here.
Sure.
Cox Automotive latest dealer sentiment index survey asked 536 franchise dealers from July 23rd to August 7th what they thought their area market would be like 3 months later. The franchise dealers gave that future market a score of 49, down from 52 a quarter earlier and 58 during the third quarter of last year. It was only the third time in the index's 7-year history that franchise dealers' 3-month outlook rating fell below 50. Franchise dealers also were tepid about the current market, giving it a score of 50, up 1 from the second quarter, but down from 57 a year earlier. So the outlook for the new car market isn't all that great. I'm sure that they're going to sell plenty, but not enough.
Right.
And so, matter of fact, I just read where they are not going to produce the Wrangler and I think the Ram because the lots are full, and they're going to shut down the factory for a week to try to catch up, if you will.
Yeah, reduce the inventory.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm worried about the car industry because they've bitten off more they can chew with this EV thing.
Well, they got pushed into something that they had to do, just like a lot of other things that they have to do when the government's involved. There are a lot of other people. It's not just the car industry when the government gets involved. And it's catching up with them and try to make something happen. It's not going to happen this fast.
I have some recalls for us.
Okay.
That'd be good.
Chevrolet Silverado 1500 rear bumper mounting bracket is underrated for towing.
Oh, boy. So it's a bumper hitch.
So there goes the bumper and the trailer with hauling your nice car and all that other stuff.
Boat.
They left it left it back there in the
grandma in the
exit
camper.
45.
Yeah.
I lost a boat one time when the nut came off the hitch and it bounced. And
That
it
would
pulled
be
it up.
you. Only you would have that.
But the bumper stayed on.
Yeah, I did have the bumper on.
High voltage battery may overheat in the Jaguar I-Pace
No
for
way.
2019.
No way.
Ford Motor Company recalling about 103,000 vehicles in North America due to a malfunctioning intake valve that could crack or break, leading to catastrophic engine damage and an increased risk of a crash. The recall affects 21 to 22 F-150s, Ford Broncos, Ford Edges, Explorers, Lincoln Nautilus, Aviator models, according to documents filed with NHTSA. An intake valve in an internal combustion engine opens at the proper time to allow fuel-air mixtures to be drawn into the cylinder. Well, apparently they break. Ford has issued more than 30 recalls so far this year in 2024 and has led all U.S. automakers in recalls for the past 3 years, according to NHTSA. Eaton Corporation of Nebraska is the supplier of the intake valve in the affected models. Now, I'm not done.
Oh, excuse me.
Speaking of Ford, fuel injectors may leak in the Ford Escape, Explorer, Mustang, and Corsair for 23 to 25 models. Engine intake valves may break, which I just referred to. Incorrect gross axle weight rating on labels for the Ford Transit for 2024. And the recalls just keep on coming, baby.
The hits keep on coming.
So I've dropped a valve. I've been in a car that dropped a valve.
And it just kept on running, or did it all go out through the bottom of the engine?
One point it did stop, but I'm wondering how it would cause a crash. It never.
If it gets locked up, it's like putting the brakes on. And if it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle,
it seizes.
The whole thing could seize up. Toyota Sequoia Hybrid tow hitch cover may detach.
Oh, my.
That's a recall?
That's a convenience.
Yeah, all that is just a beauty panel that clips onto the back.
Thing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Some of the recalls are kind of stupid. Like the label underneath the hood. Really? That's a recall? Just send me the label in the mail. I'll go out there and put it over the old one.
It's expiration date on it.
Something. I don't know.
Sometimes I just don't understand.
No, and then you wonder why they're spending so much money.
Yeah, well, there you have it.
Again, the government. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Did you have something that you wanted to say? I interrupted you when I said hold on about the thought.
that was about dropping the valve causing the crash. That didn't in my mind. I've seen a lot of weird things with motors blowing up, but I've never had one of them actually cause a crash. No, they've seized up. I saw a guy 60 miles an hour put the transmission into reverse and lock the world up, but we didn't crash.
Well, I think that there's a possibility.
So you won that race.
Yeah, you won that race. Sold car weekly roundup from Hemmings. Let's do that.
Yeehaw!
I know. I
You
love
got
doing
enough time?
it. We missed it. Yeah.
Okay.
We missed it last week, so we're going to do it this week. What do you think? Now, this is from Hemmings.com, and they have a website that you can sell your car. And most of them are, unique cars, fun cars. Here's one, a 1972 Ford Gran Torino. It's red, looks good, don't know about rust, don't know anything about the car other than the fact that it was for sale and it sold. How much did it sell for?
Starsky and Hutch car.
A 72 Ford Gran Torino. It's not painted
Red with
in
the white stripes?
No.
All right. Okay.
18.5 for me.
26.
17,850. It's sold for 17,850. This is one for Jeff. A 1960 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz.
Ritz.
Man.
What do you think that thing?
60. Wow.
You said 60?
No, 60 is the year. So 60 is the year, right?
That's what I said, yes.
Okay. Let's go.
It's a convertible.
Yeah, let's go $35,000.
20.
$162,750.
I was closer.
You were closer. It was a ways off, but you was closer.
There you go.
Oh, you didn't say it was brown.
It's brown. Well, that would
boosted the price.
No, hell no. No.
You left off the white side.
While we're on Cadillacs, let's do one from
Golly.
1963. 1963 Cadillac
So
Coupe
this one should be
DeVille.
more.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah, Coupe, 63.
63 Cadillac Coupe DeVille. What would it sell for?
You go first, Mike.
I'm going to give you a
18.
hint. I'm going to give you. Don't consider the Biarritz here.
No. 18.
18.
I'm going to go 23.
14,490.
Oh,
I bring this up because I know that you're kind of dabbling around looking for something cool as a collector car. Well, there it is. A 63 Cadillac Coupe DeVille that is as big as your house.
Probably can't even get it in the garage.
No,
you
you
couldn't.
can't.
No. You couldn't.
And
do
how
that.
about, here's another one for Jeff, because he's a Nova kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
A 1969 Chevrolet Nova. Red. Solid red in color. It's got some aftermarket wheels
I think
on
it was
it.
Victory Red. That's what they called it.
I don't know what it is. It doesn't say, and it doesn't matter. It's red. Red's red.
69.
69 Chevy Nova. What do you think that sold for?
Doesn't say SS or anything.
No, it doesn't say that. It could be, but it doesn't say it.
23.
14.
$50,400. Come on, Mars.
I got closer.
You can do better.
Well, I'm
You can
thinking
do better
six
than that.
cylinder.
It is right there.
It looks like my old car.
2012
Same wheels.
Ford Mustang.
Oh, he didn't tell me it had
2012.
Kragers.
It's 12 years old. 2012 Ford Mustang, black. Looks like it's got some aftermarket wheels on it. Looks clean. Don't know anything about it other than that.
Okay, fair
2012 Ford Mustang.
16,000.
16?
enough.
It's 12 years old.
I'll go 18.
$20,396.
Yeah, we were in the park. Yeah. I wouldn't give you that.
I wouldn't either.
We don't know the mileage on it.
I didn't want to go 12 below you.
Yeah.
Do you know what a square body truck is?
Yeah.
Okay. 1983 Chevrolet C10 square body. Looks clean, blue in color, one solid color. It's got wheels that have wheel trim rings on it. I think that they were factory options
wheels,
back
yeah.
then. Nothing special about it, nothing outstanding. It's got those great big, humongous chrome side view mirrors on it
Yeah.
from the factory.
Extenders.
What do you think that sold for, an 83 C10?
14.
11.
23.
Damn.
Here's
I wanna
one.
see that one.
This is for you, Jeff. Yeah. A 1993 Buick Roadmaster station wagon
Be still.
with the wood cladding down the sides.
Still in the shipping crate.
I'm sorry, the year again, Don?
93.
93. $12,000.
Nah, the way I'm going, I'm going to have to go up to 22.
$12,600.
Oh!
Here, you can call them and try to buy it from the buyer.
Look at that.
Here's one.
That's beautiful.
Are you familiar with Wells
Help it out.
Wells Fargo's ad where they have the stagecoach, the red stagecoach for Wells Fargo? Well, here's a 1958 model. Looks like a Wells Fargo stagecoach. What do you think something like that would sell for?
$8,000.
Stagecoach.
Stagecoach. No,
$8,000.
I'm going to say if it's on Hemmings, I'm going to say 16.
$5,000 can be yours, the Stagecoach. There it is right there.
I'll be darned.
Okay.
Horse-drawn.
Horse-drawn.
Good
In-Wheel
job,
Time
that
Car
up.
Talk Show is
LS.
available 24/7
Yeah.
through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. And a new daily podcast available from your favorite podcast provider. We also video stream our live 2-hour show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipe means when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the first Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here is the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katie's another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located on 99 the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station. Located just around the corner from Kyle Field, it's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Going to Louisiana? The Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont is on I-10, so you can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants has the best Tex-Mex anywhere, and you're invited anytime. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Okay?
All right.
We're moving ahead, and Jeff has got the feature this week, cool cars with cool dashboards.
Yeah, we've got some of these are retro, some of these are futuristic. Go ahead, Mike.
What?
Go to the next one. Yeah,
It is.
This one is the Lamborghini Athon Concept. It's the next one. There you go. Oh, perfect. As one would come to expect,
My
the
God,
Lamborghini
he
Concept.
can't even hit the space bar button.
The Athens interior was outlandish. Its electronic readouts must have been sensation back in the 80s.
What year? 80?
80. But when the Bertrand design show car was unveiled, the pod located to the left of the steering spoke steering wheel had the controls of the windscreen, wipers, and indicators. Everything on the left there was it.
How in the hell do you steer it?
It's a one shot. This one is the Oldsmobile Incas Concept, developed by Italia Design, the 86 Oldsmobile with a full width instrument panel with multiple screens. Looking at all those red lights might make you think going back in the future, the Trilogy or the DeLorean Time Machine once again. I like that. I want one of those in my car. I would love it. That'd be great. Okay, the next one would be the VW Orbit Concept. It's a forgotten Volkswagen concept.
It's a gum, too.
Orbit, yep. And it's also a mascot. Quite possibly one of the most advanced dashboards is seen in the 80s concepts. From the InfoVision processor, the CD player, a massive instrument cluster, and a touch-sensitive buttons. The Italia design Orbit from the 1986 year was a geek's delight. So this next one we have is a Peugeot Quasar Concept. The science fiction interior.
Peugeot.
Yeah, it was possible. It was possible with the Clarion as the electronics company in charge of developing those massive screens. As shown in the image, this one here, the 84 Quasar, had a color central screen with navigation, not to mention the fact that it sent and received telex messages.
By the way,
not text.
Quasar, isn't that the television with the works in a drawer?
Something
the
like that.
Quasar?
Yeah, and there's
Believe
also
it
a
was.
space thing going on there, too. So this next one is Citroen
A
Karen.
Citroen.
Citroen Karen, featured in the concept We Forgot the series.
Oh, my God.
The Karen concept of the 80s had a particular 3-seat interior with an avant-garde dashboard, incorporated a screen in the middle acting as the instrument cluster. The digital speedometer and tachometer flanked the central air vent.
That'd be great for an aircraft, but that's about it.
Yep. And this last one we all know and love is a Chevy Corvette, the C4, probably the most popular here. The 4th generation Corvette came as a standard with the LCD instrument panel. It proved to be quite problematic over the years. It pulsated, it flickered, it went dark occasionally.
Just like me.
But this list is purely about design, hence why it deserves to be here. So there you go.
Thank you very much.
We'll work on that.
Please do.
Okay.
And we can also work on Mr. Mars because he has a review now of the 2025 Infiniti QX80.
We're
Mr.
rocking.
Mars?
Yeah, I was really impressed to see this thing show up because it is a large, full-size luxury SUV. It's 17.5 feet long, according to Infiniti. We had the Autograph all-wheel drive. Now, this vehicle was completely redesigned this time. This is the 3rd generation. It's only the 3rd generation. It's been 14 years since they went and redid this vehicle this much.
Oh, wow. 4
trim levels, Pure, Lux, Century, and Autograph. The Century and Autograph come with all-wheel drive as standard. And we had the Autograph series. And it's a 7-passenger vehicle. It's got long flush lines. The door handles are all flushed out, and they come out and present themselves when you walk up with the key. It's pretty impressive looking whenever you do it. It's got a new double arch grille up front with the narrow LED daytime running lights on it. The Infiniti emblems lit up, which at night looks really cool. Full width LED lighting across the rear. This red light that goes across the lift gate. 300 LEDs are stashed in that thing. Got a panoramic power moonroof. It's too hot for a sunroof. And it's got the motion-activated lift gate. Rolls on some nice 22-inch aluminum alloy wheels. Now, inside, we had the semi-Anlin leather seating. Now, this is really cool. First row, heated, vented, massaging seats. The second row, again, captain's chairs that are heated, vented, and massaging with a console. The third row, which is a power folding arrangement, it also has heat. So everybody gets heated seats in this vehicle.
We need that here in Houston,
yeah,
Texas.
buddy.
Oh, yeah.
It's got 2 14.3-inch displays that go across in the dash. That's where you're going to find your gauge package in one. The other one's going to be your convenience controls, your Google Nav. Google Nav's a little bit something to get used to and to work with. And it's got another screen, touchdown screen on it that actually controls everything. And it's not necessarily touch. It's actually a button. You actually get feedback that you pushed a button when you shift gears and you do things. Now, this vehicle weighs 5,800 pounds. So this is a large vehicle. 3.5-liter V6 twin turbo.
Wait, did you say 5,800 pounds?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God.
Well, if you're 17.5 feet long, you got a lot of bulk there. You got to fill it up.
Oh, my God, man.
Like a tank. 450 horsepower, which is 50 horsepower more than it was last year. Now, the torque is 516 pound-feet, which you need that to get this vehicle rolling. It has a 9-speed automatic, and it comes with paddle shifters. I'm not sure why in this luxury SUV you want paddle shifters, but they're there. And again, tow rating, 8,500 pounds. So you can hook onto this thing and really get some stuff going. Now, we had the sample Monroney on it, so we had to do some search, but it appears that the EPA says that in city you should get 15, highway you should get 19.
What did you get?
I drove it 403 miles, so a lot of it was highway. I actually got 18 across the week. I had it.
I'm surprised.
Well, because it's highway. Inside the city, you can just about see that change. So it also has the air suspension, so it'll lower and raise whenever you get in and out of it. You can do that, or you can raise it way up road. 6 drive modes. Now, the base model price for this vehicle is $84,444. Base trim price for the Autograph, $109,900. We had a couple of little options. Push the price up as tested, $112,590.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Now, but if you're looking at competitors, 2025 Cadillac Escalade is priced out starting at $87,595 versus $84,400. So it's in the ballpark. The 24 Lexus LX is at $92. They haven't got a 25 price yet. The 24 Lincoln Navigator is at $83. Again, no 25 price. So they're all, when you get into that large luxury SUV, they're all right there in that expensive area.
All right, thank you, sir. Today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is sponsored by the group of original Lupi Tortilla restaurants in Houston, Beaumont, and College Station, Gulf Coast Auto Shield, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories. We continue after this break.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show brings you great guest interviews each week from manufacturers and suppliers to the aftermarket, racers, enthusiasts, and other friends just like you and me who love to talk about all things automotive. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show takes it to the road, too, with remotes at Tailpipes and Tacos, Woody's Waterfront Car Show, and the Hemi Hideout. In Wheel Time's live video and audio stream can be found on the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, Facebook, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon Central Time, or grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider.
From the Sugar Shack Studios in Houston, Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Rich McClellan with Elite Customs in Franklin, Tennessee, and Jelly Rolls Ride. Jeff has the cruise in and events calendars, and we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. David Ainsley sleeping in. He'll be joining us on our remotes very soon. We got a bunch of them coming up. Let's get right to our first interview right here and now, shall we? His name is Rich McClellan, and he's Elite Customs in Franklin, Tennessee. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Well, very well, thanks, and thanks for hanging in there with us this morning. I know you've been waiting all this time for us, but it'll be worth the wait. It's glad to have you. Franklin, Tennessee, I told the boys, I said, wait a minute, I think Darrell Waltrip is from Franklin, Tennessee.
He is. He actually has a couple dealerships out there that we do business with, actually.
There you go. See? You know, you make fun of my memory, and you can still make fun of my memory.
I was going to say, we're still going to do that.
What I've got to say to you is boogity, boogity, boogity.
That's right. So, Rich, tell me about Elite Customs. How long you been in business? What's your background?
So we've been in business right at the 10-year mark. We're pushing the 10-year mark now when we opened it. I've been doing this type of work for somewhere around 25 years since I was young. And I kind of got into the audio world originally, doing car stereos and stuff, as most young kids start out with in high school. And I just kind of evolved. I couldn't find people to do the work that was being asked of me or that I wanted done. And so I kind of taught myself how to do it, and a lot of trial and error and broken things here and there. And I
succeeded, obviously.
I did. I figured it out. And then along the way, I met a lot of people that were really good at their craft. And, you know, kind of, hey, come along with me on this wild ride of building cars.
So, Franklin, Tennessee, where is that in relationship to Nashville? Or give me another major city.
So it's about 15 minutes outside of Nashville.
Okay.
South.
Yeah.
South, headed towards Alabama. But like I said, it's real close to Nashville, so you're not very far.
So you've got a major city to pull from, and obviously, just like any other business, I would imagine that this guy had this done over there at your shop at Elite Customs, and hey, I want to have that done, but I want something else, and then it just keeps on going and going and going, and pretty soon you got a parking lot full of cars waiting to get in the shop.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of our client base, they start out with something small, especially if they haven't even really customized in the world. You know, they come in with their and maybe do a chrome delete or wheels and tires or something along those lines, and then evolves into a relationship of trust, and they go, okay, what's your ideas? What's your opinion? Which way would you go? And, I give them my opinions and try to learn their personality as best I could to kind of guide them and direct them in a way that they don't feel uncomfortable getting out of their own car.
And they can afford.
And they can afford. That's a great point. And that's how we got. I started off, like I said, in the audio, and then remote starts came on the scene, and that's where I really shined. And I could do remote starts, and I've traded everything from hot tubs to cars to for remote starts back when they were.
How the hell did that hot tub thing work out
well,
for you?
There were actually people in it.
There were 8 people in it. The hot tub time machine, that was your invention.
They you find people in different crafts and different worlds, and plumbers or whatever.
Yes.
Happened to be one guy that he installed pools and hot tubs, and he would take them out as well. And he's like, hey, I got this hot tub, but I really want a remote start. And I was like, well, I can trade with you.
It's funny you should say all of this. It reminds me of a guy that I knew and met him at an apartment complex that I lived in. And he was working for a company called Marco Polo. This is before your time. Marco Polo was an audio company. Remember, they used to have those back in the day. Mm-hmm. And this particular company went out of business. Imagine that. So he opened his own business, and it was called Custom Car Stereo. And it was a little bitty slice of a little bitty strip center up off of Westheimer here. And he would run a little 1-inch box ad in the Sunday sports section of the Houston Chronicle. Car stereos installed in your car, $49.95. And he had no money, and he bought them on consignment. And because they didn't know who he was. And, Kenwood and Alpine and all of those car stereo makers were just getting into business and
back
really
in the day,
getting started. He sold every single one. He couldn't put them in fast enough. And he turned his business into a multi-million-dollar business. Mm-hmm. Long story short, he's very successful, but that's how he started installing stereos. And at the end, before he sold his company, he was doing Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Tesla, all of these cars, high-end exotics.
Now he owns them.
Now he owns them, but putting in big stereo systems, and these guys that have these very expensive cars trusted him, and word spread, and things just kept going. And you sound very similar to his kind of background.
Yeah, he does.
Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment.
You should, yes, absolutely, no doubt about it.
He's very successful here.
As a matter of fact, John Gray, who's one of our sponsors, it was the guy that I told you about, had loaned John a space in his shop to do detailing, and one thing led to another, and window tint. Now John, all of the high-end cars in town, if there's anything wraps or anything like that, John does it, including stereo stills. So it's kind of one of those businesses where if you're good at it, word of mouth spreads among those enthusiasts like ourselves, and hey, I'm going to take my car over there. And then, my wife cars needs this or that, whatever the case. You're well connected, and you pull from different sources.
Well, the way he does, obviously this is his segment, but it seems that he's got trust, like he says. He gets the trust of the customers, but the customers also take pride in what they do.
Yes.
And nowadays with the internet, they already know what they want walking in. Hey, I've seen this at a car show. I've seen this at one of the music events. And so they know walking in what they want. So obviously he's got a bird nest on the ground. He's just going to put it in.
Well, and he's got a reputation to back that.
Right.
Exactly.
And he's in the music capital of the world. Hello.
We're going to run his little video here while he's talking.
Exactly. So let's talk about the jelly roll machine that you did.
Yeah, so it was a 1964 Lincoln Continental. I got a phone call one day from him. We had built several cars. We built a 76 Cadillac Eldorado for him and chopped the top off of it. And he took that to the CMAs a couple years ago. And we built one for his wife and built another truck for him. And he called me, and matter of fact, me and my wife are getting some tattoo work done. And he's like, hey, man, I got a great idea. The CMAs is coming up for this year, and I've got to top it. We did the Cadillac last year, but I've got to make a bigger splash. I want a convertible. I had a 61 Lincoln Continental that I'm building myself. That's a hardtop, and he would walk in and see it, and walk around it, and look at it. He's like, I really want a convertible, and I was like, okay, let me find you. And so I got on the phone, I got on the internet, and I found one in Utah. And so I found it out there, made contact with the guy, negotiated the price, texted Jelly, and was like, hey, here's the price. What do you think? And he was like, you think it's fair? I said, it's very fair. They're kind of expensive for convertibles, but it's fair. I have another buddy of mine that I'm friends with that owns the Lamborghini dealership in Salt Lake City. And so that guy was real close. I called him. His name's Tom. And I said, Tom, do you mind taking a look at this car for me? Let me know what you think about it. And then can you do the deal for me? And he was like, yeah, sure. Guy brought it up there. He looked it over. He said, look, it doesn't run. It's the brakes don't work, but there's no rust, right? There's no top on it. Like it's not in great shape, but it's in great
doable.
Shape. That's right. So the body's straight, the body's rust free, and sometimes that's all you need. And so he paid the guy for me and set up transport, had it transported out. We got it a week later. We paid him back. And we started, and Jelly came in finally. Took a few months for him to come in because he was on tour. And he comes in and he goes, okay, I want to do it gloss black. And I was like, wait, I'm going to stop you right there. We cannot do another Lincoln Continental convertible gloss black with chrome trim. Everybody is either black or white. And you just can't. You can, but you shouldn't.
Right.
And so he goes, okay, well, you build it how you want to build it then. I said, okay, then I'll build it. And so he never saw it another day until we dropped it off finished. And I would call his wife from time to time and be like, hey, what do you think about that? Or what do you think about this? And she'd be like, yeah, I don't really know. And so we went on, and then my wife had a great idea. She was like, man, what if we engrave the door handles, the outside door handles? Nobody has really done that. And I was like, well, I've never even thought about that. That's a wonderful idea. And so contacted a guy that does guns out in Vegas, and he was like, yeah, absolutely. Jelly Roll, yeah, we'll do that. So I sent him the handles, the steering wheel, horn button, the inside door handles, and he custom engraved them all and sent them back. And then we put a Gen 1 Coyote Mustang engine in it.
Nice.
Automatic transmission.
Yep.
Lean towards doing air ride, but any car guy knows if you do air ride, there's bound to be some kind of trouble.
Yeah.
Sooner or later.
If you're not a car guy, you do not want to be stranded with your air dumped out.
Right.
And so we put static suspension on it. We did put air in the rear just to be able to kind of level it out. He's a big guy. And then we moved the seat back 5 inches so he could fit in there, put a tilt steering column in there, and then redid the whole interior, paint, body. We did the whole underneath. I mean, all electrical. We did everything. And then the wheels were one of a kind. We already had wheels, and they were getting ready to go on, and I had one of the reps from Asante come in, and he saw the car. I've known him for years, and he was like, man, we've got these brand new wheels that haven't even dropped yet. They would look great on that car. And I was like, yeah, but we got to have this done in 3 weeks. And he was like, I'll have them to you in 3 days.
Cool.
I said, send them to me. And he did. They cut them out, sent them to us, and they made a huge, huge splash. Some good, some bad. And, but it was, that's kind of what you want on a car.
Yeah, absolutely.
The car you build. But for the most part, I think we did a pretty good job.
That's awesome. Well, and I guess you got probably more in the works in the shop, don't you?
Absolutely. So we've actually got a 67 F100 that we put an LS in with a turbo on it, a 76 millimeter turbo. And we're actually building a 65 Lincoln Continental convertible now that will get a Gen 2 Coyote with a 3.8 Whipple on top. Nice. So we're redoing the suspension on that, and we're going to actually try to feature it at SEMA next year in the JTX Forged booth.
Tell me about the Brabus wagons. What is a Brabus?
So Brabus is it's a German-based company. So you're familiar with AMG?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. AMG started out as a separate company from Mercedes-Benz. So they were a aftermarket company that did performance and body kits and things like that.
Right.
After you bought your Mercedes.
Correct.
That's what Brabus is. And eventually AMG merged with Mercedes, and that's what it is. But Brabus is an aftermarket company like Mansory is. And there's only a few in the United States that are authorized to use Brabus, and we're happen to be one of them. And so when we build them, we use their body kits. We really like their styling, but we use different rims. We're not a big, huge fan of their rims. And then we do different performance parts. We use a guy named Premier Tuning Group out of California, and we end up making something like 1,000 horsepower, 1,100 horsepower to the crank. And on a G-Wagon, that's a lot. And we don't have options, so we can pull the cats out, and we put titanium exhausts on it, and I mean, we wrap them and do body colors and carbon fiber, and the sky's the limit, really.
Where can we find all of this information about your company?
So we're on Instagram, TikTok, all of it's under Elite Customs TN. We're on Facebook, and our website also, EliteCustomsTN.com.
Perfect, because we got to look at all of your stuff. I got a feeling that you pay a lot for photography over there with all of these really nice cars and trucks that you do.
So actually, the ironic part about that is our social media guy he was in high school. He just started his first year of college. He's actually my ex-wife's stepson.
God.
You had to think about that one.
Okay.
Yeah, my current wife and my ex-wife are good friends, and he loved cars. He wanted to be a car designer, and he came into the shop, and we got to talking to him. He's really good with computers and photography, and he changed his whole major in school. He wants to now do like social media and stuff like that. So he's opened his own media company and everything.
So let me ask you this. Has your ex-wife told your current wife about you?
Unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah.
It works out great because I get to see my son a little more than you normally would.
Right.
Because go over to parties and stuff like that to their house. That's a little awkward. They say they don't understand why it's awkward. It's awkward. Like
sure.
Guys, that's a little awkward. I walk into my old home.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. I can see where that.
Yeah.
You can relate, huh, Don?
No. Well, no, I can't actually. I don't have any of those homes anymore. Imagine that. So there's that.
Great. It is a great feeling to not have the arguments, the fights, the things like that.
Oh, that's got to be nice. Yeah.
See, I'm seeing a reality show written all over this already.
Well, we actually filmed a sizzle reel and an episode, and we're actually in the works of pitching it right now. We built around the Lincoln Continental. We actually filmed a lot of it, building it and the reveal, and so it was really good. And actually, if you go on our website, we just finished last Friday, not this past Friday, but the following Friday, we finished a Brabus G-Wagon that has about 900 horsepower, and we built it for. Are you familiar with Madison Cawthorn? He was a U.S. congressman. He's in a wheelchair.
Yes, as a matter of fact,
is it the
I've
bright
seen it.
orange one?
No, it was an all black one with the grill.
We've been
had
running
some
your
pictures of
videos.
one.
We've been running your videos while you were talking.
Yeah.
So that's Madison Cawthorn's. That's the second car we built for him. He brought down from Florida for us to build.
Nice.
And we put Hank on that too.
Well, next time we're in Nashville, which we go often, as you can imagine. We're known worldwide, and so they invite us there quite frequently. Country Music
Anytime
USA,
they need
and that's right. Yeah,
the roads cleaned or something.
that's right. Then they invite us there. We're going to stop by and see you. Listen, man, it's great to meet you, and real pleasure to have you on the show with us. EliteCustomsTN.com and Rich McClellan. Hey, we're going to look at your work and have a good time with it, sitting around chatting about the stuff that you do over there.
I really appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great day.
You do the same, my friend.
When you see Jelly, tell him I said, hey.
Absolutely.
Okay. Take care, bud. All right, time now on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We need to take a break, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, let's do that. In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. Grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider. We also video stream our live 2-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. In-Wheel Time Car Talk continues right after this. Oops, wrong one.
The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipe means when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the first Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here is the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katie's another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located on 99 the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station. Located just around the corner from Kyle Field, it's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Going to Louisiana? The Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont is on I-10, so you can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants has the best Tex-Mex anywhere, and you're invited anytime. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors, Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today and online at gcautoshield.com.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Time now for the cruise-in and events calendars, and Jeffrey has that.
Betcha. So September 14th, which is next weekend, you've got the Primrose School of Sienna. They've got a car show there. It's at 4400 Sienna Parkway in Missouri City. That goes from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then just down the street at Sylvan Beach Park, Mike, you know where that's at.
Yeah.
In LaPorte, Texas. They've got one going from 8 a.m. to noon, and that's on the 14th as well. And then you got the Downtown Liberty on the Square. It's at 1923 Sam Houston Street in Liberty, just down the road from them. That goes from 9 to 1. Rev Up Your Imagination, Mike, is in Huntsville. It's at 3925 Texas 30 West.
Right there next to the penitentiary.
Yeah,
You
buddy.
betcha. That's at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then, of course, we got one coming up at the Sam Houston Raceway Park. It's the 2024 Hot Wheels Legends Tour. It is September 7th in Dallas, and then the 14th in Houston. It's going to be at 25800 Kirkendall in Tomball, Texas. And, of course, Don's been talking all morning. We've been talking all year, and we're going to keep talking about it. What we're doing. So you got Woody's 6th annual
Yes.
coming up. And where's that at again?
That's down in San Leon,
Okay.
Texas.
And then you got Space City Corvette Show.
What's the name of that place that does salads?
Salada.
No,
No,
the
no,
one
the
down there
restaurant. The
in
restaurant
San
where you live
Leon.
in.
Oh, that's going to be the Waterfront
Water
Grill.
Topwater Grill.
Topwater Grill.
I recommend Sally.
Yeah.
I certainly do.
You'll be there till next month trying to get it delivered to your table.
Space City Corvette Show in Fredswood. Mike talked about that.
What day is that?
That is going to be 10/12, October 12th.
October 12th.
And then October 19th is going to be the Spring Branch High School. That's a museum that Mike talked about. On November 9th, Hemi Hideout. You got to go. I'm telling everybody about it. So I'm giving $10 out to everybody that goes.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give
And
me
then
10.
Autorama's on November 11th. And then you've got stuff coming up for next year. So that's it. Cool stuff.
You done?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Lots of stuff to do.
Great story here. Rodney Smith Jr., this is from Automotive News. He travels the country encouraging boys and girls to help homeowners who are veterans, elderly, or disabled by mowing their lawn for free.
Cool.
After putting more than 200,000 miles on his Ford Transit van over the past 2 years, the founder of Raising Men and Women Lawn Care Service ended up in rural Nebraska this summer with a blown engine. I was in the middle of nowhere, Smith told TV station KOLN, that's Colon, in Lincoln, Nebraska. I don't know what I was going to do. When Anderson Ford heard about Smith's predicament, the dealership had the van towed to its service department in Lincoln, more than an hour away. Engine replacement and other needed repairs added up to more than $20,000, but the store did all of it for Smith at no charge to get him back on the road. The towing company waived its fee as well.
Wow.
Smith's organization, which relies on donations, asks teenagers around the U.S. to participate in the 50-yard challenge, which gives them a free lawnmower and other equipment after they've mowed 50 lawns.
That's cool.
In 2020, Ford Motor Company gave Smith a new Edge crossover to replace an older model he had driven around the country while mowing lawns for free in all 50 states. Thought that was a great story.
Yeah, that is a great story.
Police say a burglar who hit more than a dozen dealerships in the Maryland suburbs of Washington, D.C. over 2 weeks in August isn't old enough to drive the cars he's been stealing.
You remember those days, Mike?
He's also too young to be arrested and jailed for most nonviolent offenses under the state's juvenile justice laws, a loophole that has hamstrung police from stopping the crime spree. The 12-year-old thief has been caught at least 8 times, but in each instance, officers had to release him, according to station WJLA.
To his Meemaw or something.
The boy allegedly grabbed some candy bars in the showroom of a Jaguar dealership before making off with the car and snagged some ice cream from a freezer filled with customer snacks after ramming a stolen car into a service bay door at an Audi store. I think I'd hire him. Managers at the dealerships being targeted, and some worried their businesses could be next, told the TV station they're frustrated, though none agreed to go on camera. In case of someone who is under 13, they're completely immune from accountability or consequences from almost all property crimes, according to John Johnson, president of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. The Maryland juvenile justice system is set so there are little, if any, consequences for most juveniles involved in crimes. The Rockville City Police Department told WJLA it has filed a child in need of supervision request seeking action from the State Department of Juvenile Services, but the process can take several months. In the meantime, they're locking up the dealerships and doing everything they can.
They need to quit having snacks in the
showroom.
showroom.
What they need to do is hire the boy. Come and see him.
He's the future leader of the UAW.
There is that. Okay. This is a terrible story.
Oh boy!
I'm not even.
Don't even read it
I'm not going to read it.
That one was bad enough.
Going to end on terrible.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you that Joe Biden is preparing to block Nippon Steel's acquisition of U.S. Steel, according to a source on Wednesday. Reuters reported the move by Biden would deal a blow to the proposed $14.9 billion deal. The president has previously expressed concern over Nippon's deal to buy the 122-year-old iconic U.S. steelmaker. U.S. Steel warned earlier in Wednesday that a failure to merge with Nippon Steel would put thousands of U.S. union jobs at risk. The move is the latest in a year-long saga over the fate of U.S. Steel, a storied American industrial giant and major supplier to the North American auto industry.
Wow.
Somebody needs to step up, figure it out, and make it American-owned again.
And we'll talk about it if they do that.
We will. So we're pretty excited about our lineup of remote broadcasts that we've got, especially the latest one that's going to be sponsored by Emmons Autoplex down in Friendswood, and it's a big car show down there. And I have been twice now, and I keep telling you, it's a great car show. It's under the trees in Stevenson Park down there in Friendswood, and it's coming up in October.
So does this sort of remind you of Granbury? Because Granbury's got that.
No.
Okay.
Granbury's got a great big parking lot. This has a parking lot next to it, but this is all, the car show itself is all underneath the trees in the grass. And they've got a nice, very big center pavilion out there that I think that you're really going to enjoy. Time now for a quick break here on In Wheel Time. We'll be back right after this.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755.
Well, that's all for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Be sure to check out our website, inwheeltime.com. Follow us on Facebook. Give us a like. Tell your car friends about us and share our stuff. We'll keep you posted and connected to all things automotive all week long. The love line is open and can be reached at info@inwheeltime.com. We like car pics, so send us one with a description of any info you'd like to include, and include your name. We'll show it on a future show. When you're looking for award-winning car talk, you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Grab a podcast anytime from your podcast provider. We live stream the show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday from 10 to noon Central Time. The In Wheel Time video technical director is, we always need more, Jeff Zekin. For booking agents, video editor, and people finder, Mike Out of This World Mars, Chief Engineer David Ainsley, I'm Don Armstrong. We hope you join us next week here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. That's Saturday, September 14th, 10 to noon Central Time on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets. Be safe out there and have yourself a great weekend. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Happy Grandparents' Day.
Is that today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Happy Grandparents' Day. Mars.
Don.